Wolfman, Grim Reaper, coming to you live once again through the power of the internet. Coming to you live once again through the power of the internet. I'm sorry I said that twice. And Wolfman, Grim Reaper are going to do a heavy metal themed video for you all. In this heavy metal themed video, I am going to be talking a bit about stone cold black metal classics and my favorite black metal albums and my favorite bands of black metal and why I like these albums by these bands and what draws me to them and how I'm drawn like a moth to a flame when it comes to some of these albums and the band that made these albums and the discography and how these albums are just stone cold classics, absolute masterpieces, if you will. And also, when it comes to black metal, I'm going to be focusing more so on actual black metal bands, and real black metal bands. Bands like Mayhem, Carpathian Forest, Mayhem, Immortal, Carpathian Forest, 1349, and Dimmu Borgir, Cold, Dimmu Borgir, Cold, Dimmu Borgir, and Dimmu Borgir, even Enslaved. Even talking a bit about the Norwegian black metal band Enslaved. I might talk a little bit about them. May even talk a little bit about Dark Throne. But anyway, I can name multiple albums by the band, and they have to have more than one studio album that is considered a classic. They can make as much, they could have made as much as 12 to 16 albums and still had a couple here and there regarded as classics. So anyway, without further ado, Stone Cold Black Metal Classics. The number one album is Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism by Immortal. That was the first ever album that came off the heels of the 1991 extended play. I don't know about the 1991 extended play. I might put it on the list. I might not. It might not be on the list, but who knows? Maybe in another video I will talk about it, but Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism. That had Call of the Winter Moon, one of the earliest songs I heard them on. Battles in the North had Grim and Frostbitten Kingdom. Another album I heard them on, couple of the earliest songs I heard them on, in combination to All Shall Fall and the entire All Shall Fall at the Hard Winter albums. Those are classic albums. Love those ones. But the first ever album I'm going to mention right now is Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism. The second album is Pure Holocaust. Pure Holocaust is a classic. That was got a 1 liter Vita Coco coconut water. Gonna drink on this whilst I talk about these albums. So, the Pure album, as I call it, because I don't want to say Holocaust too much, I can get flagged for it, but that Pure album by Immortal was a pure black metal album. Pure Armageddon. Pure Armageddon, as I call it. And it was a 1993 effort, and 30 years later is a classic. That Pure album is without a doubt a classic, followed by their third album, Battles in the North, in 1995. Almost 30 years later, classic. 1997, 26 years later, another classic. 1999, At the Heart of Winter, 6-song masterpiece. Peace for At the Heart of Winter, Damned in Black, one of the best albums to have came out of the year 2000, Y2K as it's known, one of the best Y2K albums of its time. It might have been a little bit ahead, but it was another 7-song masterpiece that came off the heels of At the Heart of Winter. and it was released just a year after the 1999 album. Every 1 to 2 years they released a new album for the most part, up into the Sons of Northern Darkness, which is another good one. And the fact that the song One by One, it was featured in Tony Hawk Project 8, that one together with title track In My Kingdom Cold, referencing At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft, Antarctica, coldest continent in the world, Tyrants, just classic, Sons of Northern Darkness. And then it wasn't until 7 years later they made the All Shall Fall album. And that 2009 effort, that was one of the earliest albums I ever heard. Unearthly Kingdom, Mount North, Arctic Swarm, Norden on Fire. Were classics. All 8 albums combined are just stone cold black metal classics. Those ones together with Mayhem's De Mysterious Dom Sathanos album, and that is some of the best Mayhem discography. And that is the breakout album. That paired with Death Crush, that 1987 extended play, and just the extended play, he paired both of those albums paired with the fact that around at the same time just before they made and 10 years after they made their 1987 extended play, they made a second extended play, Wolfslayer Abyss. And that is a classic too. And Wolfslayer Abyss is just a classic extended play by all that matters. And I got my computer with me so I can know what I'm dealing with. So, and plus the fact that I mentioned 8 Mayhem and 8 Immortal and 3 Mayhem, De Mysterious, Death Crush, Wolfslayer Abyss, that unholy trinity of a great studio album and 2 extended plays is just amazing. So I had all 8 Immortal albums, De Mysterious 9, Death Crush 10, Wolfslayer Abyss 11. Then the 12th album I had was 1349 Hellfire, and then the 13th and final Stone Cold Black Metal classic, 1349's 1349 extended play from 2001. Those are all classic albums. Those are my favorite Stone Cold Black Metal classics. Although I will give an honorable mention to the Liberation album, which was their debut. From 2003. Even though their first ever release was 2001 in extended play, 2003, 2004 Beyond the Apocalypse, 2005 Hellfire, 2009's Revelations of the Black Flame, 2010's Demonar, their 6th album, Massive Cauldron of Hate, and then Through the Eyes of Stone, and August 16th, 2019, and their October 18th, 2019, The Infernal Pathway. Even though I will talk about some of those albums, but I feel like my list has concluded with the 12th album and then the 13th and final album, the 2001 extended play, and that is my list of Stone Cold black metal classics. I had to look them up on my computer so I could know what I was working with, what I was dealing with, and so I could know what I was talking about. And plus, I do not have any kind of CDs or vinyl records of these albums. I wish I did. But anyway, hopefully I've left you with some good knowledge and also some good recommendations. If you are looking into getting into black metal, start out with some of 1349, but it's best number one kind of black metal band to get into black metal without a doubt. Probably Bathory, even though I've never really listened to Bathory that much, but Bathory, Celtic Frost. Check out those bands. Memorize the Unholy Trinity, Dark Throne, The Mysterious from Mayhem, All Shall Fall by Immortal, Frost by Enslaved. Those are in the Hellfire album from 1349. I will talk a bit about all the other releases of 1349, including the Frost album by Enslaved. But anyway, I think I've left you all with some very great memories. I don't know, great memories, but anyway, some great albums, and showcase you all my repertoire of black metal with you all, and shared you my knowledge of my repertoire of black metal, and gave you some good albums to look into and listen to, and hopefully you got something from this. I'm very glad I shared you all my love of bands like Mayhem, Immortal, 1349, and I'm glad I shared with you my knowledge of those bands, my love of those bands, my interest in those bands, and why I like some of those bands, and how albums like Pure, Diabolical Full Moon, Mysticism, and Blizzard Beast, Damned in Black, Sons of Northern Darkness, All Shall Fall, all self-titled 1349s, 1349 extended play, Hellfire, Wolfslayer Abyss, Death Crush, and The Mysterious Dom Satanas, all by Mayhem, and how all of that discography left you with something great. Anyway, Wolfman Grim Reaper, same wolf name, and